Western Brook Pond is not really a pond. They call anything that's fresh water here a pond. It's 16 kilometers long and over 600 meters deep and 600-meter cliffs on the side of it. It's crazy. It's a beautiful glacial artifact. Unbelievable. So this was just the hike walking in there. Is you got 1.79 kilometers it was, and before we even got on the boat. And it was so cold and rainy, and you just go anyways because it's always foggy or rainy or something. It was incredible to see, though. Between the Newfie accent and the wind, you can't hear anything. I apologize. And of course, the pictures don't do it justice. It was magnificent. And if you ever can come to Newfoundland, go to Gros Morne Park and take this 2-hour bus tour, or boat tour, I mean. It's well worth it.
It's named from the bluish paths that can sometimes be seen along the water's surface, the way the sun's rays strike it at a certain angle. Where are all our Ontario folks at? Where's our Ontario? Hey Ontario, if you're feeling a little homesick, my friends, this is Newfoundland's version of Made in This right here. At exactly 1:45 p.m. Now you're probably wondering, well, how do they know the exact time and date of this here slide? Well, that is because our vessel, the Westbrook 3, was just back there at Blue Denim Waterfall when all this rock came tumbling down. There was a huge cloud of dust and a tremendous amount of noise. We did have 25 people on board at the time, and I guess I don't have to tell you, everyone needed new underpants by the time that was done. But it didn't create much of a wave or disturbance to the pond, though, because the rock simply let go further back in the cliffside and slid right down into the fjord itself. But as you can see here, all this vegetation over the years is slowly rebounding right back up through all those rocks.
Wizard of Oz. If you can't find them, myself and Cameron's got a few sheets to help you along.
Again, I apologize for that wind noise. They were pointing out faces you could make out in the rock there, but it's too hard to explain, and you really can't see it in this video. My apologies, people.
Now this is our smallest point here in Western Brook Pond. It is known as Broke-Off Cliff. Now we will have a story for you on our journey back of exactly how Broke-Off Cliff got its name. But just for a little point of reference for you all, many of you know that the CN Tower in Toronto comes in at 553 meters tall. Well, Broke-Off Cliff right there, 700 meters tall. So almost 150 meters taller than the CN Tower in Toronto.
This waterfall stands at 600 meters or 90 feet above. This one is known as Woodland Rock Falls. swim across the pond, or cross the ice if there's still ice here at that time of the season. Across the pond and climb up the very narrow channel on the other side. This is done in the springtime when both valleys are full of ice and snow, making travel much easier for the caribou. Once about the right hand side of our boat, we come to a very large glacial plateau known as the Big Level. And this is where August and caribou congregate to have the young in the spring of the year. A roast born is approximately 400 woodland caribou, but that number is fluctuating as the animals are migratory and move in and out of the Parks family at different times of the season. Depending on the amount of snow runoff we get or the volume of rain we get for their size. Western Pond gets very little inflow, and we only have one outlet, Western Brook, just north of where we loaded our boat. Other bodies of water of this size would flush or renew their water supply 6 to 8 times a season. Western Pond, however, takes 15 years to renew its water supply just one time. Boat to the far right corner, high up on that cliff edge, our most spectacular waterfall of the day. Now this beautiful waterfall that we have here is one that has a little bit of a strange name, and I can assure you none of us here have anything to do with this here waterfall that you see pouring from the high plain above us. This waterfall is actually known as Pissing Mare Falls. Yeah, I know guys, you heard that right. Pissing Mare Falls is the tallest freshwater free-flowing waterfall anywhere in eastern North America. From the dock that we left to this little dock you see over here on the left side of our boat, we have traveled some 16 kilometers for approximately 10 miles. Now this little dock is actually our drop-off point. Everybody goes so quiet when I say that. I'm just kidding. But it is a drop-off point, not for you folks, but for seasoned hikers that would like to do the long-range traverse hike. It is a 3 to 5 day trek from here to the base of Grossmorn Mountain. There are no marked trails, so a map and compass skills are definitely essential in order to do this hike. Now, our tour boat does not let anybody off here without a backcountry permit. Now, our good skipper Craig is beginning to turn our vessel around as we begin our journey back out through the fjord here. So just be mindful of that. We don't want any, we might be in a bit of our own wake. So if you're standing, make sure that you've got some behind our boat, about halfway up that cliff you're looking at right there. And what you're seeing in your background is an absolutely stunning Western Brook Gorge, ladies and gentlemen. boathouse is located today. When he came in a few days later, all of his belongings and boats were gone. When he walked inside the door to move it further, he noticed everything was all wiped out. And in his own words, he said everything was all washed down, perhaps 300 feet high and 3 miles wide. Everything was wiped right down to bare rock. What he had described almost sounds like the aftermath of a tsunami or a powerful wave that had been set in motion by a massive rock fall in there. Now, thankfully, the fall of this severity didn't do anything. However, both students have noticed some smaller spots throughout the years. If you notice a little bit of broken trees and rubble along the shoreline, some of this was contributed to a couple of winters ago.
Oh, this is the Tin Man. Look at up his nose. Right there. You're doing good.
Normally you actually take the spoons right out of the kitchen order. So this is actually kind of cheating. Good job!
And of course I had to try spoons. I did not too bad.